Polygon is going to come back big time. You'll see Polygon back into the main stage. I mean, we are still top three, top five, and this is like bad days of Polygon. Imagine even then you can't count Polygon out. But when's these product, some of the things I want to fix for the long term. So that's why I said we take a little bit more time. It's okay. But now we have fixed those product things. Now we are ready to sell these products for next 5 years, and you will see it. It is, if somebody thinks, especially some of the polygons like haters or competitors and all that, somebody thinks Polygon is dead or whatever, they are going to be, they are in a very big, they are for a very big surprise.
This episode of Encrypted is sponsored by CoinRoutes. CoinRoutes is a leading institutional crypto trading platform that has rapidly established itself as a market leader in systematic trading solutions, offering a powerful algorithmic order execution management system that empowers the world's largest crypto trading firms. Welcome to the Encrypted Podcast, your gateway to the future of technology and innovation, right here in the heart of Dubai's dynamic tech universe. I'm your host, Maria Vovchok, and together with Dubai Blockchain Center, we are embarking on a journey that unravels the minds of tech visionaries through the digital frontiers that are shaping our world. Hello and welcome everyone to the Encrypted Podcast. I'm your host, Maria Vovchok, and today we're really happy to have here Sandeep Nailwal, who's an entrepreneur, software developer, founder, and CBO at Polygon, a global and sustainable Web3 infrastructure built on Ethereum. After studying computer science, Sandeep received his MBA from the National Institute of Industrial Engineering, one of the top schools in India, where he specialized in IT, information technology. Sandeep's background in tech set the foundation for the 2015 launch of his company, Scope Weaver, which aimed to be India's largest marketplace for professional services. Later, he switched to deep tech. It was then that he started designing and developing blockchain-based decentralized application architecture. Just 2 years later, in 2017, Sandeep, Jayanti Kanani, and Anuraj Arjun united under a common vision for the future of blockchain tech, and this is how Polygon was born. Nailwal's narrative in recent years has extended far beyond his success at Polygon, from his role as a co-founder at Polygon to his ventures as an investor, and more recently as a co-founder of an AI startup. Nailwal has continually reinvented his influence across multiple areas. Sandeep, welcome to Encrypted. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really, really good. And thanks for inviting me. I think I have a very long history with the podcast. I
Yes.
think when it was launched, I don't know, maybe I was like one of the early ones or one of the
Yeah.
early ones who moved to Dubai back in the day. I think 2021 or something.
Yeah.
So it's a whole full circle coming
So,
back here.
yeah, that's true. Actually, Ahmed Al Balali, who started the podcast Encrypted, I started this back in 2018. So I know that you were one of the first guests, and I definitely would like to catch up and find out what has happened over this already. Oh my God, 7 years! 7 years have passed already since the launch of the podcast, and you were there in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least for the last 4 years, let's find out. But also, Sandeep, what do you believe our audience should know about you that maybe I haven't mentioned yet in the intro?
Hmm. I'm thinking like what extra they should know. I mean, yeah, I mean, personally, I am a very gritty person, like, I mean, person with a lot of grit and perseverance. And,
Perseverance.
I am, uh, I consider myself because I work with a lot of smart people.
Mm-hmm.
So I generally constantly evaluate myself at the bottom of the barrel
Mm.
in terms of the all the amazing smart and competent people working around me.
Mm-hmm.
But I learn from my lessons, and I eventually end up doing well in whatever things I do. So that's very important part of my personality.
Mm-hmm.
And even though many times things will go up and down, eventually I will find the answer.
Mm. Is it true that, like, back in your, let's say, early days when you were in your childhood. Is that true that you didn't exactly plan to become an entrepreneur?
It's not about the plan, but I don't think like I had any kind of how should I say, um, circumstances
Mm-hmm.
to be an entrepreneur. So I come from a very, very poor background. Like, I mean, a lot of people would say that, yeah, like I mean, it's very fancy in the US and Western world also that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I come from a humble background, right? But they don't know what is humble background.
Mm-hmm.
Like when, really what humble background is in from a, like India used to be when I was growing up, still a third world country and not even exactly a emerging economy in that sense. And so we come from a very, very poor background. And my father, I think for the longest time till I really started making some money, he was earning from $60 to $80 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And this small room that we are doing podcast in, I think till 2016, maybe probably 2017, we were living in five people in this small room, and with room kitchen. There's not one BHK. There's no H in that. There's one bedroom and there's a kitchen, and that's pretty much it. So I never really had. I mean, I never really had odds to take a plunge into entrepreneurship because in India, like I am the eldest son also,
Mm-hmm.
and as an eldest son of three of us siblings, I have a sister also. You have to, you have your moral responsibility that you have to build a house for the family. You have to get your sister married. Like it's a big thing in India. Like marrying your sister or daughter is one of the biggest responsibilities of a man. And
Interesting.
he, anybody from India listening to it, like they would understand. There's like kind of almost like a cliched dialogue in all the Bollywood movies that I have to get my sister married and all that. There's a stupid concept of dowry and all that. So thing is that I was I mean the life expected from me that once I finish my job, I finally get some job where I can make $2,000-3,000 a month, which is a very good salary in India. $1,500, like 1 lakh rupees and above, is very good salary. And and then build some small like two-room house for my family and all that. But I think the good thing happened for me is I was still one thing was that, but I always wanted to do something on my own. So and I've been working. I started working from when I was like 11 years of age or something. And in US again, like US people think, yeah, a lot of kids actually start working very early. Maybe not 11, but 14, right? They they'll be working on McDonald's and this and that. But when in India a kid has to work from 11 years, it's a very bad situation, right? You don't like none of my friends would have worked till maybe they become 22, 10, 23 years of age when they finish their all the studies, like their graduation, post graduation. In India, it's not a very good situation to be in. But I started taking tuitions and all that. I had a younger brother who is like 9 years younger to me, so it's almost like a my first kid. Now I have my 3-year-old, but he's my, like I feel like I have two kids, right? So since like I mean I was 12 years of age, I think he never went to my parents to get something. He will always come to me. So, and which continues to till date. So there's no possibility for me to do full time. I used to do a lot of part time startups, projects, this, that, even in my final year of engineering. And which, like, again, like it's good that India has a very good student loan system. So once you crack some engineering exams, then banks can give you like $5,000 loan and all that. And that's like enough to cover engineering college if you get to a decent engineering college. And there also I cracked like few large projects for large organizations and all that, but I was never able to do full time. It was only my wife, but that time my girlfriend, Hashita, she was my college junior once I was doing my MBA from Native Mumbai, which is now I am Mumbai. And she was my junior. And once I got out of that, I was working with Deloitte, and I would work like 10 hours in the job, and then next 4 5 hours on the for on my startup till I pass out, right? So and she's like, this is a very this is not a life worth living, and you should do this full time. You want to do this full time? And I was like, I need to build, like, if you want to get married, like, in India, like, there's no way you can get married. You can go to the parents of a of a girl and say that, I want to get married, but I don't even have a house, and my family doesn't have anything, and this and that's, right? So uh, so so I thought that, I have to build a house. So best way is you get a job, then you take a mortgage house and all that, and then I have to get my sister married and all that. And she said that, I don't care about the house. Like, we can live in the rented house for all of, like, I don't care. You don't worry about this. Do this. And I think that was the first time in my life where I got, like, because I'm the eldest kid in the whole clan, so I am the one who is helping, advising everyone. This is the first time somebody said that, okay, we'll see it. Don't worry. You go and do it. And I think it took me 2 weeks from there to put my resignation on my job. And I had done a lot of part-time startups, so people knew that I want to do this, and I mean, they believed in me, maybe that time. And I got a funding of probably $10,000 at that time, which was enough, because all I needed for myself was, I said, for 6 months I need $600 a month, which include my college loans, engineering loan, MBA loan, and then I have to give my family $300 a month to survive for the food and all that, and then I would survive on $100 a month. I said, this is like, if I get like $600, I will leave my job. So that my seed investor, he said, I'll give you overall. I think he invested 8 lakh rupees, which is $10,000 today. That time maybe $12,000. So he said, okay, so maybe $6,000 for you for the whole year, $7,000, and 5,000 you build the business. Then I started the Scope Weaver business, and yeah, like that. Uh, build.
When you were introducing, you found out more about deep tech, you started learning about that. How was that? How did you meet, first of all, your co-founders? In this case, we're talking about Giant T and Rush. And for the first time, it was obviously Matic Network. How did it become Polygon? And then, as it used to become later on, the number one scaling solution, layer two, built on top of Ethereum.
I mean, it was a long story, because first I, started the Scope Weaver, which was a Web2 business. Then the business actually started doing good, but I realized that, I have become a non-scalable part, because the business was literally running on me, right? Like, me being the front facing for all these projects and whatnot. And then I said that, if I am here, I want to do big scale. I'm not here to do like some decent scale business. I want to do something big. There's no way I'm. So then I went to deep tech. I went initially dabbled in AI a little bit, very, like, maybe 2 weeks. And I realized there's too much mathematics for me now, too much programming, because that time AI and today AI is very different. Now the LLMs are fully built. That time you had to build machine learning algorithms and all that if you were in AI. Now the algorithms and models are already built. You build applications on top. It's much easier to build. Probably if I was getting in this 2000 instead of 2015, it was happening in 2024, I would probably still go in AI and try to build some AI product. Right? So that time I started, but that time you had to do AI programming, which was too complex for that time, because I had already left programming for 4 weeks, 4 years, 4 5 years by that time. So then I came across Bitcoin again, and 2 3 times I had, in the last 6 years, I had seen Bitcoin, and it had come across, and I always thought this was some sort of a scam or Ponzi scheme. And when it came back to me in 2016, I was already looking to go to deep tech. I was like, this scam is again still alive. What's going on? Like, that was exactly my reaction. Like, what is going on here? And then went and read the white paper and all that. And by that time, I had done my MBA also, so I knew a little bit about economics, geopolitics, more well read about the news and everything. And then I could see that, oh, this is actually a very big technology, like that sense, because somebody figured out to run a global payment system on multiple computers who coordinate with each other, but nobody can control the system. It's unstoppable. So that was a big revelation. I think that then I thought that this is a technology to be in. But I was more, because being a programmer, I thought that what if somebody could build custom business logic on this, which later on I found out is smart contracts, right? And then maybe 2 3 weeks later, I landed on Ethereum. The moment I saw Ethereum, I said, this is it. I shut down again. I took like 2 weeks, shut down my previous business, wrote to everyone, all my clients and all that, that I'm going to handhold you for next 6 to 12 months, don't worry, but I'm shutting down this business and don't pay me anymore from here, but I'm going on my own different journey. Then I started that and started learning myself. Took me 3 to 6 months to get back into the technology, started programming. Then I started taking some projects from the people so that which I can build so that I can have my hands-on experience on doing some production projects. And because I had already run a business by that time, I was very good at already sales and business development already. So that business started booming very fast then. And then by then around that time I started becoming part of like probably the first Bitcoin group in India. I was part of those groups. I became admin in those groups.
You decided to jump on the
Because obviously you were looking to see like who is doing the same thing like in this thing, and there were hardly like 15, 20, 30 people initially when we used to have Bitcoin meetup. This is like probably end of 2015 or early mid of 2016 probably. And that time very few people were there, but I started becoming like prominent in many of these groups because I knew technically also and I could understand business also, right? So people could see that I can answer their questions both technically and this thing. So then in that group Jayanti also joined. So initially he was building something else. He reached out to me for funding probably because by that time I had built a Bitcoin portfolio which started growing by 2017. I got it at Bitcoin at like $600, $700. By that time, it had gone to like 20,000 or whatever. So but that time, what he was building, I thought that this probably will not have a market for it. And then later on, after 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, he again reached out, and that time he was doing some scaling, like Ethereum scaling thing. And I was building Ethereum-based applications for clients. And I could clearly see that this is not like the scalability is not there. You can't pay $1 per transaction. And by that time, it was not even $1. It's like 50 cents, 20 cents. And I could already see that you can't build a production grade application on this where users will be paying this high gas fees. So when then I found out that that Jayanti is doing, we fondly call him JD. So we JD because his name is Jayanti Damodar Bhai Kanani and all that. So we fondly call him JD. So when I found out that JD is Ethereum scaling only, he's writing. He's a much better programmer than me. He's like really, he's a real deal, and somebody who understands business also very well. Like very uniquely, I find very very good programmers who understand business also that deeply. So yeah, then we met and we said yeah we should join hands together and we should do this thing. And then we found Anurag also, and in fact he was working from a co-working where Anurag was sitting just across. So we were not like some old school friends and all that. We were just we met, and then I think everybody understood the mission and everything, and then we started Matic. But from there to becoming a top layer 2 solution, that is again 3 years of journey. And crypto 3 years is like is like a decade, right? And starting from India where there were two three scam projects had happened by that time from India. And already like the Western world looked at Indians and Chinese projects as scams, right? So literally like nobody funded us. We were hardly able to raise 165K. Like I remember like pitching to, I don't want to name the people, but pitching to some of the most prominent funds that time, and having an Indian counterpart on the other side who's leading the fund. And they're like, we said we are raising $5 million. And he said like 5 million, why do you need $5 million? You are in India, just get 500K and you can find engineers in 20K. That they like we were not building applications, we were building protocol, right? So it used to be very hard. Like I know that first 3 years, I mean now I'm sitting here in Dubai in a cushy podcast room and all that, but for the first 2 3 years people don't some of the people forgot also, but many people saw me. I used to carry the standee of Matic. I would go in all the events because we didn't have money to pay for the sponsorship, but I still wanted us to be visible. So I will sneakily go, and then in front of the elevator I'll just put the standee. They will find out, they'll destroy it, but I will have 2 3 standees. So these kind of things we kept doing. I'll always wear, like right now I'm wearing Polygon I will always wear Polygon t-shirt everywhere I'm going. That time Matic t-shirt. And then keep meeting, and people will be like all the high quality Western projects they were building with layer 2s, but those layer 2s already built. Somebody has multi-coin investment, somebody has Coinbase investments, A16Z. Their profile was much bigger. So they had no reason to even listen to me. Like, who are you? Like some scam project from India. Like you will not be able to build layer 2. And so, but then I think like they every event they will go, I will hound them literally, like, meet them. Yeah, bro, how's development going? This, that. So hard journey. But then eventually Binance gave us a very good opportunity. I'm always thankful to Binance for that, for Binance Launchpad. Like, but even though, like, for example, we started our Launchpad application, it took us like 9 months of DD. And whereas like a lot of Silicon Valley projects came and they got their DD done in 1 month and they were prioritized, and we were supposed to be first or second project, but we were like we then became fourth or fifth project or sixth. I don't know, but they were able to cut the line, but it's okay. It took us 9 months, but when we launched, and by that time we were very clear that we will launch with some sort of product and all that. We'll not do only the white paper thing and all that. So, and then again, we did like, community by community, application by application. Like I mean, in those 2-3 years, I went to probably like, I don't know, 1,000 hackathons, and I would have, I mean, not 1,000 hackathons, like you don't have 300 hackathons in a year, but Polygon used to do, because we then, by that time, once we got the funding, we engaged few agencies. They were doing 150 hackathons in all the engineering colleges in India. But all the top hackathons, let's say 30, 40 hackathons a year, I would go to each hackathon and go to each table of each team, like where each team is sitting, and ask them what they are building, tell them about Matic, that, you should build with Matic, the gas fees is low, much more scalable, this, that. And slowly those things, bottom of the pyramid, we were able to build, because we couldn't get the top guys. But we got the bottom of the pyramid, right? And what happened is that those developers, then when many of them will get hired by a tier 2 company, they will go there and they see, oh, maybe you can try Matic, this is much cheaper and all that. And they'll say, yeah, I just need cheaper, I just need to deploy my application. And then slowly, that then to tier 3 to tier 2 to then tier 1 started seeing so many tier 2 applications are building on Matic. That's going on. They started evaluating, and then few of them I was able to crack some business deals with them, that you do this, we do this. And then I think suddenly in 2022, I think like even not even then, not even the traction. Then we acquired my other co-founder, like Mihailo, who's from Serbia. He was doing this. He was very deep into the Ethereum ecosystem, but he could see that our story is not getting into the core circles of crypto, because we are like a fringe project. And then when we acquired his company, or like acquired and then adopted the Polygon brand also, which was a much more polished brand and more global and all that in nature, because we didn't even know Matic at that time. Matic almost is a Serbian or like a surname. It's a very famous surname. There's a Matic named famous footballer also. So yeah, so it's very famous, this thing. And then so finally we rebranded to Polygon. And then once Mihailo joined, our story started going into the circles, and they are like, people like, what? Like there are already 100 apps here, and there was like total 300 apps in the whole crypto, and then they have 100 out of them. And then from there we went into exponential journey from 2021 to then. It was insane.
In the past decade, we have witnessed the rise of cryptocurrency as a powerful new force in the financial marketplace.
Anyone with a cell phone can hold stable coins and have access to a banking system. I think investors in general should do research into the asset that they're buying.
Many clients, when they get involved in the cryptocurrency space, have concerns about the safety of their wallets and how safe is it to trade across these platforms. And the reality is, as long as you take care and protect your keys, you should be fine. There are general concerns around volatility in the past. We saw Bitcoin do some huge price swings, but nowadays, things are normalizing a little bit.
In the face of a unique new financial marketplace, CoinRoutes was built from the ground up to handle the unique market structure of crypto assets. As a leading provider of algorithmic trading strategies and execution management systems, their distributed architecture allows clients to keep full control over their wallets and keys.
Actually, 2021, especially 2022, was like you've seen exponential growth. Like your team has grown, if I'm not mistaken, from 80 people to 600 in a really short period of time. And at the same time, you become like the top scaling solution on Ethereum, like top layer 2 out there. You've built a lot of, in this case, also, if I'm not mistaken, this is where you build like the major partnerships with big brands like
Yeah.
Disney, MasterCard, Starbucks, Nike, Meta, whatever. So, what can you say? And then what happened? Then the
Yeah.
crash happened. So you were like, you had a solid team, you've got amazing brand, you've got a lot of amazing partnerships, and then at some point, and it was like after 2 years, then I find out that some of your members, like some of the founders, Gianty, by the way, we mentioned him, he left. I
Yeah.
remember because we met even like just like a few months before it happened.
Yeah.
So you were on the top
Yeah.
on the layer 2 solutions. What happened that, and why, for example, in this community started like being, I don't know, disappointed with your decisions?
Yeah.
What decisions did you make that were frustrating to
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
community?
I think there were 2-3 reasons for that. Like the first and the biggest reason was FTX crash. When FTX crashed, what happened is that it creates such a big contagion, and every brand that had big plans, like all the partnerships that we had from
Did you have
Reddit.
any partnerships with FTX?
No. But from Reddit to Meta to like Disney's of the world and everybody has huge
Yeah.
plans to go all into Web3, and they were all working with us. And then what happened? FTX thing happened, and
Yeah.
it became a global
Disappointment.
disappointment for crypto, but it was a global scam, right?
Yes.
Like everybody, like if you imagine if you are in Disney and 1 month before you are like, okay, this is the next big thing, next big project you're going to do, and then you go into your board meeting next month, and then this big, huge global kind of scandal has happened.
Yeah.
Every big brand they don't want to associate with. They're like, okay, keep it light. Many of them like completely shut them down. All those.
Yeah, but on the one hand, it was an exchange.
Yeah.
But you are infrastructure project.
Correct. But then they simply wanted to disassociate from crypto altogether.
From Web3. Yes.
All big brands, right?
Yeah, okay.
Then what happened? You should also. This is November of 2022, and then you remember that from 2023 February, Fed started increasing the rates very
Yes,
heavily,
interest rate.
right? So what also starts happening is when the Fed rate starts going up and all that, the markets also have a kind of a back crash, not only in crypto. So the price starts tumbling for everything, and then in crypto, price follows the narrative. Like the price is great,
Yeah.
like some narrative people will find out, right? But here they started finding out all the negative things. Like obviously, when it's going up, you can't do anything wrong. When it's going down, you can't do anything right. But what happened is that more than that, what fundamentally happened, you remember that most of the big companies started doing layoffs also, right? So Facebook did layoffs and this and that. In those layoffs, many of the time, like Facebook actually, because we were very close in discussion with them, and this was one of the last projects that they actually reluctantly cut. But their management was like, no, we need to cut. So they cut like thousands of employees and all that. So many of those, crypto projects got kind of axed at that time. So that was the fundamental reason for that. But obviously, then the market also started doing bad, and then with the markets, like people there. But the other part was like then when the Coinbase was named in the SEC case, and then Matic and Solana and every coin was also named, and then Robinhood did a very aggressive delisting of everything. Like so, Matic was delisted from Robinhood, and then they said that they will sell all the consumer holdings. They had like $300 million worth of holdings of consumers. They just said that we are going to sell. So that also crashed the price. But that is like again, but price following the narrative. But one of the bigger problems that we had is in 2023 we launched our flagship project called ZK EVM. And that ZK EVM, even though technically we built a masterpiece, right, which even Vitalik was big fan and all that, but it was not focused on UX. It was focused on crypto, like ethos, and that is technically built correct. It's fully an L2. It has all the kind of features that L2s and the Vitalik, like, which you are seeing right now, Ethereum Foundation is going.
Yeah.
We were the first casualty of that, right?
Yes.
We tried to build for the ethos, not for the UX, right? So that product also failed, and then we thought that, okay, we'll fix it, this, that. It took a lot of time to fix, and only now they are getting fixed. So those kind of things happen, and co-founders basically, like Jayanti, like me, I mean, see, as I said that, I am a very gritty and perseverant person. Like, I am on this for last like 8 years, and I continue
You don't quit.
and absolutely not. And I'm like, for Polygon, I think we are just getting started. Actually, if you see now, we have a very distributed, more decentralized, the asset and the network is now being built, now reaching a base stage, like the ag layer, our future network that we are building, and that will get decentralized and all that. So we are actually, for me, we are just getting. So I am in my life, I have budgeted like next 10 to 15 years for Polygon only. I'm going to keep working on that and take it to conclusion. But I can understand, like, not everybody has like that much alignment with the crypto and this and that. And JD, basically, once he's already 6 years, he has already vested all of the tokens and all that. And I think like at that point, he would have realized that, okay, he's not getting motivated that much with this. He wants to do something else. And JD always wants to do a consumer product. Like now he's doing some consumer developer product and all that. He's product guy. He likes, building products. He thought that this crypto, it's many times is like so much of extra mumbo jumbo around crypto than actually building the product. So maybe that he stopped being motivated with that and all that. But it was not, I mean, I literally begged JD that, don't go, like, don't leave me alone, because he was the technical
Because it's not
guy.
easy. Once,
Huh?
for example,
No,
some of
he
your
was a
founders-
technical guy. I had the luxury to only focus on business aggressively. Once he left, then luckily we had acquired and we had other co-founders who stepped up and all that. But then that also is a big disruption. I mean, I think it took us almost 1.5 years. And in crypto, 1.5 years is a huge time.
Yes.
Of a normal company,
It's like
1.5 years is okay.
Almost like already one cycle.
Yeah, it's like one cycle, and one cycle in your brain feels like 5 years. But it took us like JD left, I think, in 2023 June-ish, and I think it took us 1.5 years to finally try one CTO, then other CTO, then finally now we have somebody who's people are generally happy and all that. So it took a lot of time, but then I mean, as I said, that I don't quit.
Yes.
I will find an answer, and I think like on many of the fronts we have found the answer. And Mark, like I promoted Mark as the CEO. He was the CLO. Everybody's like, why are you promoting the lawyer, your chief legal officer to CEO and all that? But they don't know Mark. Mark is like, if Mark is my competitor, I would be scared, like because he's that kind of guy. Like he's so good, and he's like also like very this happy-go-lucky person. Like you will be always like smiling and all that. And if you are in a fight with him, like in a business fight, like I'm saying, and then you give him some setbacks, and he's like, yeah, okay. But he'll keep coming back. And he'll strategically build his position, right? And eventually he's going to find the answer. So I would not want to be on the side. So Mark is a very good find for me. Then our the overall the team in the last 1.5 years, I think it's coming back, and you are going to see in next 6, 12 months, 18 months, you're going to see a huge revival. And if it's not 18 months, it will see 24 months, 30 months. Someday it will come. Polygon is going to come back big time. You'll see Polygon back into the main stage. I mean, we are still top 3, top 5. And this is like bad days of Polygon. Imagine, even then you can't count Polygon out. But when's these product, some of the things I want to fix for the long term. So that's why I said we take a little bit more time. It's okay. But now we have fixed those product things. Now we are ready to sell these products for next 5 years. And you will see. It is, if somebody thinks, especially some of the Polygons like, haters or competitors and all that, somebody thinks Polygon is dead or whatever, they're going to be
wrong.
They are in a very big, they are for a very big surprise.
Well, actually, let's focus in this case, because there's so many things that are happening in your life. And as you mentioned, like, I would specifically like to focus. Can you please tell us what is egg layer?
Yeah. So see, I'll explain to you why, and this is also one of the parts, like why you see currently Polygon going through a downward, down trend. It had a downtrend, but now stabilized.
Right now.
It had a downtrend, but now it's stabilized, and it's actually in
It's
uptrend.
going up. It's
I mean, this is like, crypto is so, like, that's why everybody, like all the good founders that I know, week we will wake up and say that, why am I in this industry? Because even the downtrend and uptrend, we are talking about the price yet. Like, it's so sad. Like, I'm saying downtrend in terms of the product adoption for me. And that product adoption now is picking up because when Polygon POS, and people don't understand that Polygon POS was the first large scale breakout application, which had so many applications building on it. And I have worked with those builders. I know their pain points much more than anybody else, right? And I could very clearly see that all these blockchains you can think of the blockchains as, like, let's say computers. And everybody is saying that, okay, every blockchain says, I'm going to build a bigger, faster, more TPS computer, right? Solana says, I will build a computer which can process 4,000 transactions in a second. Somebody comes and says, I will build 100,000 transactions in a second. But at the end of the day, they are, in the analogy of internet, they are all computers. What I am trying to build, because these computers will always get outdated, some new computer will come. For Polygon, I want to build the internet. I want to be a part of this trustless internet that is being built. I want Polygon to be a part of this substrate on top of this whole these computers, and new trustless internet is being built. So ag layer, you can almost think of it is a connective tissue. It's actually a settlement layer, cross-chain settlement layer. Because my thesis is that as any app grows, you can see, like, for example, Solana, for the lack of a better example, because Solana in this scenario, he is experiencing that thing, right? So they had few big projects, but you can see all big projects, once they become big enough, like Jupiter announced they are going to have their own chain. Then there was like few other, like, I don't know, Phoenix, and then there is like rumors that Pump.Fun wants to launch their own chain, all that. And the thing is, why I'm saying that is that the bottom line is that if an application becomes big enough, if they have users which they want to give a certain amount of user experience, the guarantees of the user experience, they cannot be on a shared chain where suddenly, there is some NFT drop or Trump coin launched and the whole chain is choked for 1 day, 2 days, right? What kind of app, like, can you expect, let's say, Dubai, some ADCB bank or some bank in Dubai, or let's say some Dubai government application to be on a platform where for 2 days, because something is happening, all the services are slow and down.
Yeah.
You cannot, right? Why? Because they all have, how do they manage the service? They all have dedicated capacity for them. And I think that is the core thesis for us, that eventually all of these, and especially with ZK now, it's very much possible that you can have these chains run by you only. If you are building an application, you run your own chain, like you run your Web2 servers these days. You have your own server on AWS, wherever. But then in Web2, in Web3, you publish your proofs, which make sure that you are computing the smart contracts the way it is supposed to be. So you don't even need decentralized. This is the biggest trend I'm telling. Like, people don't understand that decentralization was a means to achieve trustlessness and self-custody and censorship resistance. Now, barring censorship resistance, real-time censorship resistance, like, overall censorship resistance, you can still get. So these, all three of them, you can get without decentralization. I can have one single computer running my server, my sequencer, single sequencer, and I can still provide you all the top 3 guarantees of that a blockchain provides, especially the app layer blockchain. I'm not talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, like sovereign resistance and all that. I'm not talking about that. Which Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are playing in that league. So you can have that. So the thesis is, every organization in the world who wants to come into the Web3, they will have their own chains. And then once they have their own chains, this becomes extremely fragmented. That you have to move your tokens from, or your assets, USDT, from this chain to that chain, find out bridge and all that. And it fragments liquidity. So the ag layer is the connective tissue between all of them.
So it's like abstraction layer.
It's not abstraction layer, it's a settlement layer. Abstraction layers are built on top. It's a layer underneath, right? So it gives the settlement to all these chains. They provide the proof, and it gives them, each other, everyone, a proof that, okay, this guy is settled. So let's say there is the Dubai government chain, and there is a Walmart chain, and then somebody submitted something on the Walmart that, okay, I paid this much amount. I can show that proof to the Dubai chain. So this settlement, that something happened on somebody else's computer, else's server, else's website, but I am 100% sure that this did happen. This connected tissue, this is the settlement. And this settlement, as we also say, settlement is the best part of best form of interop. Once you have the settlement, then in one center place, one circle, the settlement is achieved, then everybody else can consume that information from there. So then it solves the interop. And now once you have the interop, then you can build the abstraction layers on top, right? You have these bridges like layer 0, wormhole, they can on top can provide this abstraction layer for the application. So I want Polygon to be that kind of entrenched in the protocol of this trustless internet. That is what is ag layer. Like POS chain, we have one of the chain. POS is one computer, but there will be hundreds and hundreds. They already are on 10 chains, right? And very soon you're going to see this thing explode.
Encrypted is your exclusive ticket to the epicenter of technological innovations in the MENA region. Actually, there are so many as well new interesting initiatives you're working on. Like, for example, talking about the intersection of crypto and AI with Sentient that aims to decentralize AI models. Can you please tell us about that? Because why do you believe that decentralization in this case is crucial for the future of AI? And at what risk do centralized AI models pose?
Yeah. See, the centralized, like it's very clear that the way crypto is a decentralizing force, AI is essentially centralizing force.
Yeah.
You can see, for example, ChatGPT, right? You can literally do what you needed 100 apps to do, you can do in one app probably, right? Like you can ask so many things. It's your doctor also. This. So it's a centralizing force. And imagine some omnipotent AI emerges, and that AI is now, that company that runs that AI is basically the warlord, right? They are the gods of the world, right? Yeah. And I don't think like it's good for the humanity that few individuals are going to control everybody's fate. So, that is a dystopian. So it makes total sense.
It's an episode from the Black Mirror, most probably.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why like this AI, it makes natural sense that somebody should build an AI ecosystem, product, community built AI, which is more open and more controlled by a human, the whole of humanity possibly, but at least large communities it is controlled. It's fairly decentralized. And I think sentient is nothing but you can almost think of it as sentient as a like think of ChatGPT. ChatGPT has a front end and they are building models.
Yeah.
Similarly, sentient has a front end and then community is building models, and sentient has a kind of a orchestrator layer in between, which is an intelligent. It's a model only, AI model, but it orchestrates that intelligence into the user consumable or user friendly information. So for the user, it's just like a chat GPT. It will be a chat GPT kind of interface.
Yeah.
But in the background, the models are being built by multiple, kind of parties, and that information is being routed in a user friendly way. So that's the simple version of AI. It's an open, we wish to compete with the likes of OpenAI or Google Gemini or whatever, like these big players. We want to compete with them, but from the crypto angle. That's the core idea and kind of vision of or mission of sentient AI. And it's a very lofty, very big mission, and
it's going to be like a part of the future.
It's going to be part,
long sustainable goals for your team.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And also this is again also will be a part of ag layer only, because this is also one of the, it will have its own chain and all that. So that is my, where you have a intelligence inside the ag layer, on one of the chains, where people can pull the intelligence results from one of the chain. Like as I said, that settlement and interop is possible. You have some form of intelligence here. All the other chains can pull that intelligence, and if they want to do something like DeFi agents and all those things can be built.
I would like to find out more right now. As far as I heard from our CTO of the Dubai Blockchain Center, his name is Igor Archipenko. He told me that you're working together on a platform for verifiable certificates. Can you please tell us more? What is the goal behind that, and how does it help in the future? How will it influence the future of digital identity? Again, educational credentials, maybe how we can, for example, verify, let's say, my diploma on a blockchain.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is, I'm working with the Dubai Blockchain Center, is that I mean, two, three things. One is this. See, this use case is one of the oldest use cases of crypto. We have been talking about it for last 10 years that this will happen, right? I mean, not we. I mean, whole of crypto space.
Got it.
And but then
Yeah, one of the most like obvious use cases.
obvious use
for-
cases, yes. And I think the UAE, if somebody can do it at scale, UAE and the Emirates like Dubai and Sharjah and Abu Dhabi, they are the ones who can execute it at that scale because they have single threaded leadership. Otherwise, like you have like in many other countries, like in India, for example, we have some of these products built in different parts of the states, but some small university did it, some state did it. It never picks up that network effects. But with UAE, they have the ability to make like one single unified system where all of your credentials, right? I mean, credentials are already online for all Dubai, like Dubai Pass and all that is extremely, it's almost like magic when you see that, like so many things you can do on your government thing, but just providing your UAE pass, right? But having this part of the thing, like part of your credentials that part of your identity where you have credentials also. What is your education? Education is one thing. Like imagine like you worked, like when we interview people, they will come up with their resumes and all that, and they'll say I was the best employee of the month and this and that, and you have absolutely no way to verify that, right?
Yeah.
But imagine even those small things, like you were rank 1 in your school, like what is the way you might be fudging your mark sheets, whatever. But imagine all of this from a childhood you have built in a digitally verifiable form, private. Nobody's saying
legacy that can be verified on a blockchain.
yes,
you can
yes,
say
yes,
so.
yes. And see, this kind of use case, it's all about it picking up network effects. And we are very bullish about like doing it with the Dubai Blockchain Center and this part of the world, especially in UAE, because it's very technologically savvy, the government here, and they want to have these technical solutions, and it can have initial network effects because this solution doesn't work if you have only few, like let's say you have only your education diploma is verified, but your other things are not verified. The utility goes smaller. But if let's say you can bring a large number of those credentials, creds on your digital locker or your digital identity, now the utility exponentially grows. Like if you get like 70-80% of all of your things into that, like okay, how good like are you paying your electricity bill regularly, your bank loans, this, that. If all of that in a private form, but it's verifiable, available there, then the utility, as more information starts coming, the utility becomes becomes exponentially high. And I think that's the part which UAE can execute. If somebody can execute in the whole world, I think UAE would be one of the major contenders of that. If that happens, my whole goal is that when somebody can come and see it on an Emirate level, like tomorrow when UAE implements it, and then I want to go and say to, let's say, India or Singapore and say, see, this is the model example, you should also be doing. And then they can put like a concerted force that, okay, now we are bringing everything into this. Then that product has much more benefit. I think UAE has the ability to do that, okay, we are going all in on this. In next 5 years, everything has to be on this product. So that's why I'm very, very bullish about what Dubai Blockchain Center and Dr. Marwan and Igor and team, everyone is doing, because they can see the opportunity that this could be a really big thing here.
What are other short-term and long-term goals for you and Polygon team that your community should be expecting?
See, there is short-term, long-term, mid-term. There's only one single goal for Polygon, is to grow ag layer and make it that connective tissue of this trustless internet, right? So growing many chains on ag layer is the main goal. And then one of the chain, which is Polygon POS chain that we are running, there we are already seeing that there is a big revival happening in payments. The people know Tron is known for payments. But people don't realize that Polygon POS has 50% of those payments. We process, like in terms of volume, we process $100 billion a month. Tron processes around $580 billion a month. And but the number of daily active users, the number of transactions, we are 50%, 60% of Tron. And that's where we are focused more on that. Maybe on Tron, somebody is moving large USD quantity, so the volume looks much higher and all that. or maybe like few people are doing this. What we want to ensure is large number of retail users are using Polygon POS for payments, and that once they have the one chain in AgLayer connected, that is the beauty of AgLayer. That for the audience, whoever wants to dig deep into it, like AgLayer has this ability of unifying the liquidity across all the chains, and for the user, it almost starts feeling like one single chain. So if as a user you are connected to one AgLayer chain, you are connected to all the AgLayer chains. All the app needs to do is you sign up with your same wallet and then you start using it. That everything happens in the background. You don't need to move your tokens and this and that. Everything is unified over there. So growing AgLayer and POS has payment. Like these are the two products only. We recently did a whole Polygon Pole utility, this thing also, because people were not clear about it, because Polygon built so many products in this. So I'm just cutting down, reducing everything, only these two things. Polygon POS, dominant chain on payments and RWA. It is doing already pretty good. It will become like RWA is also, we are the second rank after Ethereum in terms of the number of high quality protocols deployed on this. And then AgLayer having more and more chains connected to it, so that it starts becoming that. So these are the two main utilities of this. But apart from that, the third thing, that all the other projects that we, experimental products we built and all that, we have spun all of them out, and they are giving huge airdrops back to the poll holders, which is basically should be beneficial for the poll holders, because poll community funded those experiments, right? But if they want to get rewarded with this, they need to become independent products, because if they are inside Polygon, they'll be like one small fringe project, right? But if they can go out, and some of them like actually have raised like money at 300 million. Both of them, two of them have raised money at $300 million valuation. One of them has raised from some of the top projects or top VCs in the world, like that rank 1, rank 2 VCs in this thing, and they are super bullish. So these projects themselves can become like, given the full independence and their own cap tables and all that, where they can raise money and then incentivize, build community and all that, and with a singular brand, they could become like, Maidan, for example, could be a Solana and Sui and Aptos competitor. And if that becomes that, like this, it has a potential to be 5, 10 billion, $20 billion valuation. And then Pole community gets hugely benefited from that.
Amazing. Sandeep, thank you so much for this interview. Right now, we move to the last part of Encrypted. Stay tuned with us. Rapid fire questions. Okay, Sandeep, if you had to explain blockchain to a child in one sentence, how would you do that?
This is the future of money.
Okay. Which blockchain founder would you like to take on a road trip?
Sriram Kannan from Eigenlayer.
If you found out who Satoshi Nakamoto is, what would be your first question to him, her, or them?
I already know who Satoshi Nakamoto.
Who is that?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, is it like...
Okay, what was the question? Sorry, my
So
mind
what
went to the
would
joke.
be your first question? Is it him or her or them?
It is...
We have exclusive information.
Yeah.
Sandeep knows.
Let's not get into the pronouns of
Okay.
of Satoshi Nakamoto. But what was the question you were saying? Like Satoshi?
Your question.
My question to Satoshi.
Yes.
How
The first question.
How did he anticipate the markets playing out the way they are playing out?
Okay, so it's still he. FYI. Name 5 qualities that you believe a real entrepreneur should have.
The ability to reinvent themselves, change themselves whenever a situation arrives, and not take everything on their ego, but change.
5 qualities.
5 qualities, I have to say. Okay, so the first is ability to change and upgrade yourself. Second, keeping your ego aside and looking things objectively. Third is submitting to a mission and vision, like surrendering, not even submitting, surrendering to the mission.
4.
Right, for whatever you are building for, right?
Okay.
Like, and then
5.
ignore everything in between, that you surrender to the mission and you don't stop till the mission is achieved. Fourth one is perseverance and grit. And the fifth one would be, because I'm already assuming they are competent, I'm not saying competent, I'm saying quality, Fifth one, I want I think the long run you should have morality. I'm not only saying ethics. Ethics is like you abide by the law and all that. I think like you should have ethics plus morality. Morality is you do the right thing, you do the good thing, because in the long run those things compound, and your customers trust you more, your team members trust you more, and that has long-term benefits.
The biggest misconception people have about Polygon.
That Polygon is only Polygon POS.
What's harder, explaining DeFi to a 5-year-old or teaching your parents how to use MetaMask?
Teaching my parents how to use MetaMask.
Would you rather lose your private keys or your house keys?
I mean, definitely house key.
Finish the sentence. My business philosophy
is keep fighting until you win.
And Dubai for you is associated with?
Is the best city in the world.
Amazing. Today we had Sandeep Nailwal, the co-founder of Polygon. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. From the gleaming skyscrapers of Dubai to the innovation hubs of the Middle East and beyond, Encrypted brings you thought-provoking discussions, exclusive insights, and stories of innovation that will leave you inspired. This episode of Encrypted is sponsored by CoinRoutes. CoinRoutes is a leading institutional crypto trading platform that has rapidly established itself as a market leader in systematic trading solutions, offering a powerful algorithmic order execution management system that empowers the world's largest crypto trading firms.